Good morning, wrestling fans. Welcome to PWR today, Wednesday morning, August 4th, 2021. The man they call Meathead and the M.O.T.S. The Matthew on the street. He's the Matthew Thomas to watch in 2021. It's Matthew Thomas.
Morning, Matthew. Oh, the M.O.T.S, like the company that makes the applesauce, right?
We got the M.O.T.S, huh?
Yeah. I hadn't eaten applesauce in a while, but I can go with that. I can go with that moniker. I've been known to enjoy a dish of applesauce or two in my day.
That's right. Hey, did you, I don't know if you know this, but the consensus here at PWR today has signed you up for some new work. When you go to SummerSlam in a couple weeks here, we're going to need some live man on the street interviews in Vegas.
So is that associated with the M.O.T.S? Am I like giving out samples of applesauce? Is that what?
Yes, and then you're questioning people with your GoPro on your forehead.
Ooh, I like that. So it lets me, embrace my love of applesauce and my hardcore journalism. I can't think of anything I'd rather be doing.
Hardcore applesauce journalism.
Yes, sign me up. Only a few short weeks till SummerSlam, man. I will be there. Absolutely. Yeah.
You know what we need you to do? We need you to have that GoPro turned on while you're handing out applesauce and find our friend Big D from Big D.
Oh, Big D from Big D. You know what? I will do my best, and I'll have a special little container of applesauce for him.
Now, will you be handing out spoons or sporks? Because I think you should be wearing a hooded sweatshirt with a pouch full of sporks.
Yeah, man, there got to be a way to streamline. I don't know if there's been a lot of developments in the applesauce game recently, but there's got to be some type of more efficient delivery system for applesauce than to basically have your little container of applesauce and have to have I always struggle with
Matthew, you've never had children, dude. Applesauce comes in squeeze pouches.
Oh, does it? So you squeeze it in your that's that's kind of what I was thinking. Well, that's simple enough. Yeah, I'm glad they make that now.
So you're gonna go instead of the sporks, you want to carry around squeeze pouches and just squirt stuff into people's mouth and see if they like it.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And I think if somebody's giving you a free sample of something, like, you should be able to control the cadence at which they get to enjoy the free sample. So it's like, hey, you want free applesauce?
This show's only 2 minutes in, and it's off the rails here.
Yeah. If you want, my free sample of applesauce, then you don't have any control over the delivery method.
What are we doing here? Let's bring it back in. Let's rein it back in. Let's talk about our sponsor. Go ahead, Matthew. Tell us who sponsors the program.
Oh, that's Collar and Elbow Brand. Although I would not recommend wearing Collar and Elbow Brand when you're eating the applesauce. You don't want to spill anything on it. You want to make sure your Collar and Elbow Brand gear
stays fresh and clean.
Stays fresh. It's not all soiled like Baron Corbin's shirt. But head on over to collarandelbowbrand.com, and there's a trusty promo code you can always use, Linda K. That gets you 10%, LINDAKAY. But there's a special new, I think it's like $10 in cash that they give
we checked with Uncle Al on that. It's legit. I actually ordered using it as well.
Oh, my goodness. And free 10. And because I am I always want to make sure that the stuff's spelled correctly. I want to make sure the audience knows the correct spelling of it. You do the free FREE, but 10 you actually don't spell out. You just put 10, which is a 1 with a 0 behind it.
Yeah. So head on over to collarandelbowbrand.com. I know I've got, and I told Linda this, and I know you listen to the program, but I've got more brother gear on the way. BRTHR, brother.
So I think at this point, you're technically an official good brother.
My brother rating, Dave Hero told me I'm a 9.5. I'm hoping to work towards a 10. So
I don't know that you can actually ever achieve a 10 on a brother rating. So that's very good.
Unless you're Carl Anderson or Luke Gallows.
Very true.
All right, let's talk a little bit of news. This is something that we've had in the can for a little bit, but we didn't actually talk about this. I want to bring this up, and you and I can talk this out here. Do you know that WWE and Blumhouse partnered to develop the United States of America versus Vince McMahon? They're going to be making, I don't know if this is going to be a movie. No, it looks like it's a limited scripted series called United States of America versus Vince McMahon. Now, Blumhouse is the people that been working with WWE Studios. The Marine, Kane's movie, all those type of.
The one where Triple H was a bus driver.
That was Triple H was a bus driver. Yeah, I remember it.
Chaperone. The Chaperone, right?
That was the Chaperone. Now, Big Show had one down that road too.
He didn't drive a bus, but there was something involving I don't know. Maybe he just rode on a bus. I'm not sure.
Maybe he rode on a short bus. Who knows? But like I said, this limited scripted series is going to be coming up. It'll be a dramatic portrayal of the WWE's history. It'll be a scripted portrayal also of Vince McMahon, as well as many of the legendary superstars of the area. Now, the show's going to delve into the WWE during the 1990s, at the time Rupert Murdoch purchased the New York Post to further his massive infiltration into the U.S. media landscape. For years, infamous Post writer Phil Mushnick, remember that name? Regularly was hammering Vince McMahon in his column, saying that legislators give WWE a free pass on roids, and McMahon skips through the cemetery. Eventually captured the attention of the FBI and the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Eastern District of New York. And in 1994, the government indicted McMahon for allegedly supplying anabolic steroids to WWE talent. If you remember, this is right around the time that Hogan left as well and went to WCW.
And Hogan, I believe, and I mean, I need to reevaluate it, but I mean, Hogan was testifying in the trial, right?
Yeah, he testified in that trial. So McMahon ended up beating him, I believe, at the end. Yeah. But really, this is something I'm looking forward to seeing really dissected.
Yeah, I am. I would also really like an actual long-form documentary on it as well, too. I mean, I know we got the XFL a while back, but this seems like this would be a very, very, entertaining and informative 30 for 30 or something like that if somebody actually bit it off, from a documentary perspective as well.
So coming up sometime in the future, we will see a scripted. Before we move on from this, I think that we're bearing the lead here. We really got to ask, who plays Vince McMahon?
I've got no idea, but while you were saying all of that, what I'm thinking is, can you imagine? And I mean, with them having the relationship that they've got, I mean, you got to think, Vince has got some oversight of this. Can you imagine Vince trying to coach somebody into being Vince?
Now you're not walking. That's not enough walk. Show your grapefruits.
I can't imagine, dude. And I mean, you have
He's
the
an
image
executive
in your
producer on the project, obviously.
Yeah, and you have the image in your head of Vince. I mean, just coaching people through promos in general. Like, Vince is going to be coaching Vince. I cannot imagine this scenario. My goodness, I hope there's some behind the scene footage of this. Like that
like on the DVD release?
Yeah.
Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, like that. Those bonus
that's got
features,
to be straight to network, I bet.
That's worth the price of admission right there.
My friend, more arms. No chance. I'm excited. I really want to see it. I don't know if it's going to be next year after. Who knows? I'm ready.
Let me ask you this.
And movie.
Is the cartoon series Mr. McMahon and his ass on Peacock? Did that make the transfer?
I don't think that's going to. But if you said McMahon and his ass, I'm not going to do that. No.
Oh, that was ahead of its time, that cartoon series.
You know what was ahead of its time? And I stole a phrase from it that I use to this day. You've heard me say the phrase hot garbage juice, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you remember on YouTube, it was Road Dogg Jesse James and Josh Matthews really going through the old archives.
Yes.
Yeah,
like
and then they had like a puppet
or a
McMahon.
screening room or something, right?
It was something like that.
Yeah.
That was ahead of its time.
No, that's true. That's very true.
Hot garbage juice, when they would talk about what's going on in this segment, it was them like in a screening room, right? And
now you're exactly right, and that was on the YouTube channel, I believe, because that predated the network, if I'm not mistaken.
Right.
Yeah.
I missed that. That was. I mean, Josh Matthews hasn't been in WWE how long either. So I mean, how long has that been? All right, we got one more thing I want to bring up here before we get into NXT from last night. Ric Flair asked and has received his release from WWE. He did not agree with he didn't agree with the creative direction of the way things were going. The last thing we saw him doing was fooling around with Lacey Evans, and then Lacey got legit pregnant from her husband and has been off TV since. Your thoughts on the way that panned out, what it did to Charlotte's little bit of a bump in her career, and then what does Ric Flair do next?
Man. It's just, it's one of those things where, of course, he's not in the ring taking any bumps or anything, but it's somebody that it's kind of surprising that would part ways from WWE, at this juncture. I mean, he's a hot commodity. And I think that there is You know, and again, I mean, it's Flair, and Flair's been in some interesting angles and stuff, but you got to look at it. I mean, it's involving, you know, his daughter's career, and you got to think that he's kind of looking at things a little bit different as far as how he gets booked, because it's not necessarily just affecting him, but it's affecting his child. I think I know who's going to make a push for him. I think that would be really, really obvious.
Is that really going to happen? Is Tully, Arn, and Ric Flair going to be in the same company again?
If it doesn't happen, I don't think it's going to be for a lack of trying.
Oof, man, do we want that? I think we want that.
Yeah, and then I mean, you gotta look too. I mean, here's the thing: if that happens, and Andrade's already over there,
Andrade El Idolo.
Yeah, I mean, you would think
you put him in a horseman, like a real horseman.
I don't know what you do, but I mean,
they seem like they're busting at the guts right now with the talent that they have.
I know, but yeah, I mean, I think you make that push. Now, I don't know what.
We don't want that WCW thing to happen again, like they did, you know, from say '96 through '99. Yeah, they just kept soaking up everybody that got cut or released.
Yeah. You know, here's the thing, and let's go back to that a little bit. I think that what's interesting now with some of the names that are out there are you've got really, really significant names. So here's the thing, you know, Big Show, Mark Henry, to me, that feels like that a little bit. Punk, Bryan, that doesn't feel like that to me. That feels like a big move. Bray Wyatt, if that happens, that feels like a big move.
That would be huge.
To their credit, you know, it's still, and here's the thing too, you go Aleister Black, yeah, that's somebody who was released, but that's somebody who, with all the potential, was not handled correctly, according to most people's opinions. So to their credit, outside of, you know, a Mark Henry or a Big Show, who are not being used in talent roles, who I think are being used very wisely, you know, with
used
the way
for television and backstage production. Really.
Yeah. Here's what I see so far from AEW is they seem to have much more, you know, they're much more resourceful in the way that they're going about it. It does not feel like that. Gimme, let me grab that. I mean, TNA got to a point where it felt like that. I don't get that feeling from AEW now.
TNA honestly only had a few talents that went there at their own volition. I'll name two of them: Angle and Christian.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you could take it back. You could say that Nash went over there after the NWO stuff was over with Hall, and you know Hogan went on his own as well. It's not like they couldn't have gone back, but I mean, really, the Christian is the one that stands out the most. And you know, Christian wanted to go over there. He didn't renew his contract, and he went to TNA. Angle, I mean, was a big deal when he came over because he went right for Joe, and I thought that was an amazing program. But I worry about the TNA WCW. You know, scoop up the WWE scraps.
No, 100%. And I think it's something they need to be, you know, they need to be careful with. But I think we're at an interesting point too, where, you know, you've got some really big game-changing names, you know, that can potentially go that route.
Big stuff, big news is big things popping, little things dropping. You know, to quote our man P. Montel Vontavious Porter. Last night, we had NXT still taped, still on Sci-Fi, but it's the last one as the Olympics carry on. Let's talk about what happened on NXT last night. The show opens up right away with Hit Row, taking on the team of Legata del Fantasma. I liked everything out of here. Winners by disqualification, Hit Row, but, you know, even, and I, for some reason, I'm spacing on her name, but she came in with chair shot. A little weak. I think she could swing it a little bit harder. The boys probably won't mind. Get in there and swing it. But I love the interaction between the groups.
No, and this had the feeling of a very good stable versus stable rivalry, and you know that's missing a lot in WWE,
by the way,
especially So no, I liked it. It was a good way to start things off, and Hit Row is probably the best stable. I mean, it's the best stable on WWE. I'm trying to think of who else I might be.
The best group, yeah. I mean, you could go with the guys from England, the Pete Dunne and his group, but they don't really do the groups.
No, and I'm trying to cross over even to AEW. And I don't think you've got that. I mean, there's a lot of 3-man groups.
Pinnacle's okay. Inner Circle. I mean, they got a lot of groups over there.
Yeah. But as far as groups really over, man, I mean, I think you got to go back to WWE earlier this year with the Hurt Business, which to this day, I still don't know why they're not
I still don't
around.
Understand
but
it. Right.
The only thing I can think of with that is if they're dead set on Lashley as a heel. The Hurt Business, when you brought fans back, they would have had to turn them because they would have been so over. That's the only thing I can think of.
The Hurt Business even went into the protection business for a little bit in 2020, and that got weird.
Yeah.
So, all right, let's go back to NXT. Let's talk Ridge Holland. He has returned. Very formidable talent. Getting his match, getting his win. Dunn and Laura can join him. And then really that's, like I said, their little group. I want to talk about Frankie Monet, Robert Stone, and Jessie Camilla. Boy, Frankie Monet looks like a star already. Not that we didn't know that she wasn't a star, because she is a star, but will her star rub off on Robert Stone?
I hope so. And like we talked about last week, he's not made to look like the one that's coming off the best in this, but we get Robert Stone on our TV every week, which we had not been getting. So again, he's in front of us now every week. I think it's
Cal's still smarter.
That's I'll give you that.
Bobby Fish and Roderick Strong. This felt like a match that, this isn't anything against the guys, but because we've gotten Cole and O'Reilly as this main event featured thing, Fish and Strong just feels like second fiddle.
No, and I mean, you look at the placement that it's given. It's given middle part of the card on free TV. Unfortunately, and I mean, kind of where we're at, I think, with Undisputed Era. Undisputed Era, kind of like Ciampa, it's that stable, and we're talking about the people that have really been in NXT a lot longer than the typical lifespan of an NXT roster member is. I think you could throw Gargano in that as well too. And unfortunately, no matter what WWE wants to call it, I mean, it is still used predominantly as the basically kind of as a farm system. And when you have these people who have been to the top of that mountain, there's, in a lot of ways, unfortunately, not really anywhere else for them to go. If they're not going to be in the title picture the entire time, you've kind of got to submerge back to the undercard, and that's kind of where we're at right here.
Okay, LA Knight, Cameron Grimes taking on the Grizzled Young Veterans. We failed you guys last week, and we did not talk about the Cameron Grimes washing LA Knight's balls. However, we're going to talk about a tag team match, and Cameron Grimes having to wrestle in his Butler uniform. Yeah.
I liked the fact that we actually got him together on TV. I did not like him wrestling in the Butler uniform. Kind of concerning here. I feel like in the
at least got his music for about 5 seconds.
Yeah, in the last couple of weeks, man, with him in this role, he was
losing hard to watch those balls last week.
Yeah, he was, but you know what, man, we're getting more of like normal Cameron Grimes speak, like him talking like and man, I don't think.
Don't worry, it's coming back.
I know, but I don't think that is what's over right now. So yeah, I was a little bit downhearted by the normal Cameron Grimes speech.
It's coming back. And watching continually coaching Grimes.
Yeah,
Grimes will overtake Knight, hopefully at the next takeover, and get that $1 million championship belt.
Yeah. No, I want to see it. Although that would technically be a title loss for Team Nelson Mandela.
It would be, and it'd be a title win for the team they call Meatheads.
We shall
Dakota Kai
see.
Explains her turn on Raquel Gonzalez. I mean, honestly, I think that was heel turn by the numbers. But let's continue on, and let's talk about the breakout tournament. Trey Baxter takes on Joe Gacy. Trey Baxter is the winner. Again, I felt that this was a solid match. However, they're not over to me yet. They're younger talents. They're going to get over. It was wrestling, okay? Weird. This was weird. Io Shirai and Zoe Stark at a sushi restaurant together.
I thought it was one of those Applebee's commercials that we've been getting recently.
Right.
First.
It was weird. Zoe seemed like a jilted lover at times. Am I wrong?
No, it was kind of a strange segment.
But so what? I mean, it's screen time for Zoe Stark, who's going to be an up and coming star. The announcers were about to talk about last night's main event. Karrion Kross jumps on the announce table and starts yelling. Joe starts yelling. Joe starts choking out all the security. And who provoked who? I mentioned this yesterday morning with Linda Kay. With Karrion Kross having lost 2 of his 3 matches on Raw, yeah. I don't think this guy's that. I don't think he's the shit anymore. That shouldn't have been done.
Right. Maybe he potentially still is to somebody who doesn't watch Raw and only watches NXT. How many of those people are out there? How many of those people are out there? What you're also doing with Kross's Raw stuff now, man, you're taking away any wow factor.
I could understand this, Matthew, if all they did was watch it online and didn't have cable.
Yeah.
NXT and Raw are on the same damn channel.
Yeah. What are you doing to when you eventually premiere him? Well, you've already premiered him, but you haven't premiered him as a Raw talent. Right. You premiered him as your NXT champion. And okay, let's talk about a fan and a viewer who is much more likely to exist than the first one we mentioned. The person who watches, NXT, doesn't watch Raw, or isn't aware of what's going on in the Raw orbits, probably far and few between. I think you're going to have those fans that watch Raw that don't watch NXT. Are you really giving those fans any more emphasis to tune in now when you're saying this is the best that they've got to offer? This is their champion, and right. he's only winning 33% of the time, which would be good enough for Cooperstown, but not good enough to get you to watch NXT.
Yeah, it's that 50-50 booking that we talk about. And, Keith Lee had to have that win, but I just don't care about Karrion Kross after losing to Hardy and Lee in the last 3 weeks.
Yeah. And I want to not to go too deep into any type of rumor, but I did hear a speculation that was thrown out there. The whole thing with Hardy and Kross was apparently there are murmurings out there that the idea was to actually have Kross go on a losing streak until Scarlett showed up on the main roster with him, and then that's when he was taken off. But with the whole Hardy thing now, that's kind of that Hardy's the Hardy thing's been scrapped. So protocol. You're kind of in this weird spot with how to book him.
Main event was the lover or loser match. Johnny Gargano against Dexter Lumis. We love Dexter Lumis. And Indian Dexter. You can't break that love apart. Regardless of Johnny Gargano winning, they were swapping spit and exchanging bodily fluids in the ring.
Yes, they were. The only thing I didn't like about this, I wish it happened in front of not the takeover is going to happen in front of a big audience, but you know what? I'll say this. I wish they would have put this on SummerSlam so I could have seen it in Vegas firsthand and been in that audience just cheering, man. Do you know the pop that this would have gotten in front of a live audience?
Dexter was trying to give India pop.
Oh, yeah. Yep, man. Wish it was in front of more people. Wish it was in front of me.
All right. That's NXT tonight. Homecoming. They've been gone for so long from Jacksonville. They had to come back. How many shows was it? 3, 4? They are on their way back to Jacksonville. AEW, we have news real quick before we go into what the show is going to look like. There is a match tonight on AEW Dynamite. John Moxley. I was just talking about Gargano, so I got my Johns crossed. John Moxley, Eddie Kingston, and Darby Allin are taking on the team of Daniel Garcia and 2.0. 2.0, who is 2.0? You ask who 2.0 is. AEW, All Elite Wrestling, has tweeted out, formerly known as Everrise from NXT, are literally in a main event match.
Yeah. It's the pick them up and put them on TV. I mean, we're in the full swing of it, man.
I said that I thought Everrise looked like Young Bucks the last 6 months when they kept doing their TV show and their coffee cups and all that other stuff. And maybe we got something else. It's Matt Lee and Jeff Parker are in AEW. They're going to team up with Daniel Garcia. So let's see what happens when they take on the team of Moxley, Kingston, Darby Allin. I mean, those are 3 main event guys. Here's what else is going on tonight at the updated Homecoming special. Christian Cage is taking on the Blade after the brass knucks to the face. Malachi Black and Cody Rhodes. That's a main event right there.
Absolutely.
NWA World's title eliminator match, The Bunny and Layla Hirsch. TNT champion Miro is going to defend against Lee Johnson. And in the 5 Labors of Jericho, it's Chapter 3. Jericho's taking on the Juice, baby. Juventud Guerrera is going to be on AEW, and Jericho, to win, has to perform a top rope move.
This will be fun.
Juice's thing at the end run of WCW was to say, Milwaukee, I love you, when they're in Green Bay, and just get the city wrong.
Yeah.
So if it's Jacksonville, is he going to say, welcome to Orlando?
Very possible. Although, here's the thing,
have you seen the pictures of Hoovy in the last week?
No, I haven't seen anything recent.
He looks good. He's
good.
He looks good.
Awesome. No, this will be fun. This will be fun.
Oh my God. What is his partners from Mexico?
Yeah. Who knows? And then I guess we'll find out, assuming that Jericho does win, which I don't think he'll get stopped in any of the labors. We'll find out apparently tonight what his next labor is going to be.
The Mexicools, Super Crazy, Juventud Guerrera, and Psychosis. Yeah. I miss the Mexicools. Remember when they came out on the Juan Deere?
Oh, yeah. That was an entrance.
Oh, yeah. I loved it. And when they feuded with the full-blooded Italians, FBI, I mean, you want to talk about just stereotypes.
Yeah.
And this was late 90s, 2000s.
Yeah.
Actually, this was 05 to 06.
Yeah. Wow. Man. Yeah, it hasn't been that long ago.
Psychosis, by the way, released from WWE in 2006 when he was arrested in Mexico for stealing a car.
Really?
Yeah. It's the last time we've heard of Psychosis.
Wow.
It's not like getting, arrested for shoplifting an iPad cover and then showing up on TNA. Oh, wait, that happened too.
Yeah. Or, potentially robbing a bank.
No.
Sans mask.
And then showing up on TV with a pizza cutter during a Domino's commercial.
Yeah. My goodness.
Well, I mean, we joke and we kid and we joke, but that is going to be AEW's Homecoming special tonight on TNT. Matthew Thomas, again, I want you to get prepared coming up at SummerSlam. We're going to need you to GoPro. We're going to need you to do you're going to be the M.O.T.S, the Matthew on the streets.
And I need to make sure I've got plenty of batteries for my tape recorder.
That's right. Ooh, if you could carry around a 15-pound camera on your shoulder all day, that'd be great.
I don't know if I can do that, but somewhere in my home, my home in Virginia, there is a Talk Boy that I used to own. I wonder if I could find that thing and get that thing operational again.
Well, hey, good luck with all that. We're counting on you.
Oh, thank you.
For Matthew Thomas, on the man they call Meathead. Hey, thanks for stopping by. We'll talk to you tomorrow morning. So long, everyone.